Thank you so much, Mary Bauer. That was very powerful. Up next, we have Jacqueline Rafii. We're delighted that our next speaker hails from our own Iranian-American Jewish community. Jackie Rafii is a cantoral soloist and director of music at Shomrei Torah Synagogue in West Hills. She is a Wexner Graduate Fellow and is studying in the Cantoral and Rabbinic program at the Academy of Jewish Religion, California. With a law degree from UCLA, Jackie inspires us in her pursuit of Jewish community endeavors, and we're particularly proud that she is an alumna of 30 Years After Maher Fellowship. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Rafii.
Thank you so much, Natalie. I'm so honored to be here and to be amidst these amazing people, amazing individuals. I'm really honored. It was so inspiring to hear your stories. Okay, so I want to start with a question. How many of you here, how many of us, check your phones the first second that you wake up? No judgment. Okay. Yeah, I do too. So it's nothing new for me to tell you that we live a great chunk of our lives being on and connected. And by we, I mean everyone, but especially the millennial generation to which I belong. We're constantly communicating, constantly available, constantly checking for texts, emails, and social media on our devices. We live in a world where our attention is divided at any one moment among 5 different things, which makes it really difficult to dive deeply into any one thing. And we know, but it's worth a reminder, that what we see online is everyone's highlight reel, right? It's the shiny best parts of our lives, while the struggles and challenges mostly remain hidden. In short, I believe we are living most of our lives on the surface. But before you start to feel pessimistic, there is great reason to be optimistic. Our heritage, our Judaism, is a powerful antidote to living on the surface. Tonight, I'd like to highlight 3 amazing gifts from our vibrant tradition of Judaism that are timeless, that help us go beyond the surface, and that can create depth and meaning in our precious and short life here on earth. Here are 3 reasons I'm optimistic about our Jewish future. Judaism offers genuine connection, inclusive community, and honest authenticity. So what is genuine connection? Genuine connection is what is created when we make meaning out of the moments of our lives. Judaism has a built-in system for making meaning. What do you think that is? Shabbat is an example, yes. More general? Mitzvot, yes, let's keep going. Wonderful. I chose rituals. Rituals walk us gracefully through big and small moments, helping us slow down and drown out the noise so that we don't let life pass us in a blur. Here are some examples. Comforting mourners at a shiva, saying Shehechianu when we experience something new, tossing pieces of bread into a river after Rosh Hashanah to help us let go of the past, taking a digital Sabbath from our phones, a digital Shabbat. Rituals connect us in a real and deep way, not only to the moment that we are experiencing, but to those around us with whom we are experiencing it. Which brings me to the next reason, inclusive community. Inclusive community is when you travel to a foreign country as a Jewish person, don't know anyone, show up to a Hillel building, and suddenly have a new group of friends who are inviting you to dinners, programs, making you feel at home, which is what happened to me when I studied abroad in Argentina. Inclusive community is the Maher Fellowship, of which I'm a proud alumna, where we experience Persian Jews of all persuasions and walks of life coming together to make a meaningful difference in American Jewish life, forming remarkable and long-lasting bonds. Inclusive community is also created around many of the rituals in our tradition. Let me give an example. My parents are Iranian-born. My fiance's parents are American-born. The first time my parents and my fiance's parents had Shabbat dinner together, we gathered around the table and we sang the same songs, the same prayers, the same melodies that have been passed down through the generations. Our parents grew up in different countries across the world from each other, yet we all shared this special moment, a moment that transcended space and time. We all form a diverse and beautiful tapestry of cultures, and no matter where we are, our Jewish community is a big, extended family that will welcome us. It is a gift that is available to us in many different spaces and contexts. All we have to do is choose to enter. But there's more. There's another major reason I'm optimistic about our Jewish future. Judaism offers us authenticity, the opportunity within our tradition to approach our tradition in an honest way, to be who we really are. How do we know this? I'm going to tell you a Jewish story, but I'm going to adapt it a little. I'm going to make it, modern friendly. Okay, so there was a great Jewish teacher, a great woman who had many students and disciples. Let's call her Noga. And Noga was on her deathbed, and she was crying and crying and crying, and her students gathered around her, and they said, "Why are you crying, Noga? You have been as wise as our great foremother, Leah, and as kind as our great foremother, Rebecca. What are you worried about?" And Noga said, "When I pass from this world and get to the heavenly tribunal, I'm not going to be asked, 'Noga, why weren't you like Leah? Why weren't you more like Rebecca?' I'm going to be asked, 'Noga, why weren't you more like Noga? Why didn't I follow my own path in life?'" Judaism asks us to be ourselves. So often we follow a path we think is expected of us, but does not ring true to our souls. Each and every one of us has unique gifts to give to this world, and by not pursuing our authentic path, we are withholding those gifts. I'm going to share a personal story with you. When I started to think about becoming a cantor, I was told by a few people in my community that I couldn't do it, or I shouldn't do it, because it was not appropriate for a woman, it wasn't a real job, and I would never have a normal life. My brother Ben, who's here tonight, was studying to be a doctor, so naturally I should become a lawyer. That's not the words of my parents, by the way, they're very supportive. So, it's true. Okay, so timid as I was at the time, I believed what I heard. I went to law school, and for 4 years worked as an entertainment lawyer representing musicians and media personalities. But all the while, the pull of my calling became stronger and stronger. I knew all along I wanted to serve the Jewish people. I wanted to tap into the depths of this beautiful and broken world that we inhabit and help others find meaning and spiritual guidance with the riches of our tradition. And I knew that my Jewish heritage offered the tools to do this in an authentic and intellectually honest way. I took all the gifts of what I had learned in my law career, which were many, and I left my law job to pursue the path of becoming a cantor. And I really want to express my gratitude to my family and my fiance and my close friends. A lot of them are here tonight who've really supported me and encouraged me on this journey, which is incredibly rewarding, but also really arduous at times. Now I'm committed to continuing my studies to become a rabbi. As an aside, it takes 5 years of graduate school to become a cantor or rabbi and 6 or more to do both. And I want to give a big shout out to the Academy for Jewish Religion, which is where I'm studying. So if you are interested in getting a Jewish studies degree of any kind, rabbi, cantor, chaplain, or learning more about Judaism with a master's or PhD, come talk to me. It's an amazing school. And I'm also working, as Natalie said, at Shomrei Torah Synagogue. My work at Shomrei Torah, everything from musical programs to education, focuses on these gifts that I see in our tradition, building connection and community in an inclusive and authentic environment. All of you are invited to visit when you're in the area. It's in West Hills. It's an amazing congregation. I'd love to have you. Sometimes I remember that voice that said I couldn't do it. It wasn't suitable for a nice young Persian girl. And I thank God at some point I stopped listening to that voice, that I actually dived into what my heart was calling me to do and discovered that openness and the treasures of our tradition. Because our tradition of Judaism, contrary to what many people say, is actually not dogmatic. It is not stifling, does not force you to believe one thing or another. Everyone can bring their unique thoughts and beliefs and opinions into this tradition. The legal basis of our tradition is the Talmud, which is full of dissenting opinions. So there is room for challenging and questioning. So speaking of the treasures of our traditions, I want to conclude with an old Jewish story. Many years ago, there was a poor Jewish beggar who had lived in poverty his whole life. One night he had a dream that a great treasure was buried under a bridge in a city far away. So with some trepidation, he made the long and difficult journey to this faraway city, got to the bridge, and saw that it was heavily guarded by armed soldiers. But he was not deterred. He went back every day to that bridge until finally one of the soldiers asked him, "I'm curious, what are you doing here? Why do you keep coming back to this bridge?" And the beggar said, "I've come here because I had a dream I'd find a treasure buried underneath this bridge. Please, please, let me look for it." The soldier laughed in his face, and he said, "You fool, you believe your dreams? I had a dream last night that I found a treasure buried underneath the stove of an old Jewish beggar's home. You think I'm going to go to his house and search for that treasure? Get out of here." The beggar's eyes widened as he realized his dream had, in fact, taken him to the treasure, right under his nose. He ran home, moved his stove aside, and started digging, and sure enough, he found a chest of treasures and his life was changed forever. We too, all of us, have a treasure that's buried right here, right at home. It's the treasures of our Jewish heritage. These gifts from our tradition help us to live our lives beyond the surface, to find meaning, to ask the difficult questions so that we're not just letting our lives pass us by in a blur. Genuine connection, warm and inclusive communities, the 30 Years After community being one of them, and the opportunity of authenticity. We are approaching the holiest days of the Jewish calendar, where we are called to reflect on the past year, to let go of what is not good for us, and to wake up to who we are meant to be. Let us resolve to uncover the buried treasures offered by our Jewish heritage and find the deepest meanings within our lives and within our souls. Thank you. Shana Tova.